The world knew Marilyn Monroe. But did the world ever know Norma Jeane? Everyone remembers the blonde hair, the red lips, the white dress, the unforgettable voice, the smile that became one of the most recognizable images in history. But behind Marilyn Monroe was another woman. A woman who had spent her childhood searching for stability. A woman who wanted to be loved. A woman who wanted respect. And a woman who spent much of her career fighting against the very image that made her famous. This is the story of Marilyn Monroe, and the woman the world never really knew. Before Marilyn Monroe, there was Norma Jeane Baker. She was born in Los Angeles on June 1, 1926. Her childhood was anything but glamorous. Because of difficult family circumstances, Norma Jeane spent much of her early life in foster homes and an orphanage. She grew up without the kind of stable family life many children take for granted. And perhaps that early uncertainty helps explain why belonging and love would become such important themes in her life. At 16, she married James Doherty. But the marriage eventually ended, and Norma Jeane began searching for a different future. That future started with modeling. Then came Hollywood. Hollywood saw something in her. But it didn't simply want Norma Jeane. It wanted to transform her. A new name, a new look, a new identity. Marilyn Monroe. The name itself sounded like a movie star. And soon, the woman behind the name was becoming one. Her hair became blonde. Her image became more polished. And Hollywood began creating a persona around her. At first, she appeared in small roles. But then the breakthrough came. Niagara. Marilyn was no longer just another actress. She was becoming a sensation. Then came Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Audiences fell in love with her. Hollywood knew exactly how to market her. She was the blonde bombshell. The glamorous woman men dreamed about and women couldn't stop watching. But here's where Marilyn's story becomes much more interesting. Because Marilyn herself wasn't satisfied with being an image. She wanted to act. She wanted respect. She wanted people to understand that she was more than the character Hollywood had created. And the bigger she became, the harder that became. Her fame invaded almost every part of her life. Even her relationships became public entertainment. In 1954, she married Joe DiMaggio. For a brief moment, it looked like America's biggest movie star and one of America's greatest athletes had created the perfect celebrity marriage. But behind the headlines, things were far more complicated. The marriage ended within months. Then came Arthur Miller. Miller was a respected playwright. Their relationship showed the world another side of Marilyn. She wasn't only interested in fame. She wanted intellectual and artistic recognition. And professionally, she was ready to fight for it. In 1955, she helped establish Marilyn Monroe Productions. That was a major step. Because Marilyn wasn't simply accepting the career Hollywood had designed for her anymore. She was trying to take control. And then she began proving what she could really do. Bus Stop.
The smash hit that had Broadway howling for more and more.
This wasn't simply another glamorous Marilyn Monroe performance. It gave her an opportunity to show vulnerability and dramatic ability. Critics noticed. Marilyn was proving that she could act. Then came Some Like It Hot. And suddenly, she was doing something else. Comedy. Marilyn's performance became iconic. She was funny. She was vulnerable. She was magnetic. And the film became one of the defining successes of her career. The irony was impossible to miss. The woman Hollywood had reduced to a beautiful blonde was demonstrating that she had genuine range. But behind the success, Marilyn was struggling. The pressure of fame was enormous. Her personal life was constantly examined. Her appearance was constantly judged. And her private struggles became public discussion. Then came the Misfits. The film was released in 1961. It would become Marilyn's final completed movie. And only a year later, her story came to an abrupt end. August 5, 1962. Marilyn Monroe was found dead at her Los Angeles home. She was 36 years old. The official conclusion was a probable suicide caused by an overdose of barbiturates. But Marilyn's death immediately became surrounded by questions. And those questions never completely disappeared. Over the decades, countless theories have been proposed. Some people questioned the official account. Others connected her death to powerful figures. Still others suggested different explanations for what happened during her final hours. But there is an important distinction between a theory and an established fact. Many of the most sensational claims remain unproven. What is certain is that Marilyn Monroe died at only 36. And that is perhaps the most painful part of the story. Because she wasn't finished. She had spent years trying to become more than an image. She had fought for control of her career. She had pursued serious acting roles. She had built her own production company. She was still evolving. But the world never got to see what Marilyn Monroe could have become. Instead, she became frozen in time. 36 years old. Forever young. Forever famous. Forever Marilyn. And that is why her story continues to fascinate us. Because Marilyn Monroe wasn't just beautiful. She represented the complicated relationship between fame and identity. Hollywood created Marilyn, but Norma Jeane was the woman underneath. The world wanted the fantasy. She wanted to be recognized as a person. The world wanted the blonde bombshell. She wanted to be an actress. The world wanted Marilyn Monroe. But somewhere inside that enormous celebrity was still Norma Jeane Baker. The young girl who had spent her childhood searching for a place to belong. And maybe that is why, more than 60 years later, people are still fascinated by her. We still watch her movies. We still study her photographs. We still talk about her relationships. We still debate the circumstances of her death. But perhaps the most important thing to remember isn't the mystery. It isn't the glamour. It isn't even the fame. It's the woman. Because behind the world's most famous blonde was a human being who wanted the same things most people want. Love, respect, happiness, and the chance to become more than the image other people created. The world knew Marilyn Monroe, but perhaps it never truly knew Norma Jeane. And that may be the greatest mystery of all. Marilyn Monroe, a Hollywood creation who became a global icon, and a woman who spent her life trying to be seen beyond the image.